Last minute Christmas gifts. We've all done it. We've run out of time. Christmas is here. Our friends and family are expecting a gift. What do? We take a stump, we take t-shirt ink, we take paper, and we build something very special. A one-of-a-kind piece of art coming from a stump in the yard. First thing that I do is I find a random stump. I cut it with the chainsaw, and then the first and critical step is sanding it flat. Every ridge in that top needs to come out because anything that's left texture on that piece of wood will show up in the final product. This can be a time-consuming process, but 100% worth it to take the time and effort in the very first step of this process and get it completely smooth, void-free. Next up, we're going to take a torch and we are going to burn the wood. Completely char it. You can use a torch like this. You can use an oxygen acetylene torch. You can do a lot of different ways, but the best and easiest that I've found is using just this torch. We want to completely char the wood, and the reason behind that is what you're actually doing is burning the hardwood and softwood portions of the tree. So what that does is it creates rings, it creates texture. All of those things will show up in the final product, and this is one of the coolest parts of the whole thing. You get to smell the wood, you get to hear it, you get to see it. You do have to be careful. It is an open fire. The texture is incredible. The next step is to then take a wire brush and remove all the charcoal. This leaves behind the hardwood rings and tears out some of the softwood that was turned into charcoal dust. Here I'm using a power version of a wire wheel called a restorer. You can do this by hand with a simple brass wire brush. Essentially, you're burnishing the top. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to use screen printing ink. This is a special ink for t-shirts. It creates a little bit of a texture. It is also cured by heat, and that's an advantage that you'll see later. What I especially like about using a screen printing ink is that it's extremely thick, unlike a paint. We are going to apply this with a roller. You can use a brush, but I find a foam roller to be the most effective tool. This is going to be lathered very heavily, and the reason being is this is a dry piece of wood that you've just charred. It's going to soak up every bit of moisture that you give it. For the very first print, you will have to load the log quite a bit. After placing the paper, one of the most critical things is to apply even pressure from the center of the print out. This allows the paper to wrap around the wet ink. And here I'm using a special rubber roller that applies a really nice, even pressure. This one is actually made for block printing, if you're familiar with that. And the best part, the reveal. Every bit of that texture is transferred to the paper with the ink. It's like a giant stamp. All the cracks, all the grain, all the bark, all the imperfections. One of my absolute favorite things to do, and it's so simple. So after the print, you'll see that the ink has been removed, and the beauty about this process is you can do this as many times as you want. So I'm reloading the stump with a fresh coat of screen printing ink. A second sheet of paper, pressing again from the middle, rolling it out, and there we have it, another print. In this particular one, I changed the angle. You can do it however you want. You can do as many as you want. A third angle, another potential option for the print. What's really fun about this is in this process, they can be limited editions. You could do one print and never do it again. You can do 50 prints and limit the amount of people that you give them to. It's really cool. It's extremely fun and easy, and it provides a very unique gift, especially those last minute gifts. All right, so the next thing that I like to do is actually mat the paper and bond it to a hardboard. So obviously here you can see me cutting the hardboard down to size to match the paper. The next step is a permanent spray adhesive. And these typically work with spraying both substrates, letting it dry slightly tacky, and then bonding them together. Once they bond, the bond is permanent. The layout is critical. Every bit of it will stick and you will not get it off. If you get it wrong, the print is pretty much ruined. After lightly sticking it, the next critical step is again to roll it even pressure from the center out. This allows the paper to compress onto the spray adhesive and really stick to the hardboard. And there you have it, the finished product. That last minute Christmas gift. Very easy, very fun. I hope you give it a try and let me know how it goes. Merry Christmas.